All right, you are now tuned into the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmylee Velez. I'm here with Gabe, Goose, Dante Reeves, real estate investing. In this episode, we have special guest Dante Reeves. We cover topics that range from property management, investment properties, flipping, fixer-uppers, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Winston Churchill and Helen Keller. Guys, if you're new, don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off, Dante, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it. You joined us back in December of last year. We had to get you back on. Previously, you talked a little bit about real estate investing, and I know throughout the year you've been hitting the investment part pretty heavy. And so we want to bring you back on so you can share some knowledge with the listeners. So we appreciate you coming back on.
Not a problem.
I also want everyone to know the massive support that Dante and his company has shown the Blessed Lifestyle brand time and time again. He's bought over $800 worth of the lifestyle brand stuff so throughout the whole year, and I want to thank you for that. I appreciate the support. Definitely, a leader in the community. A husband, dad, everything's lining up for you. We're super stoked to have you here, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity, guys, man. It's a good thing you guys are doing. So it's nice to put a little platform out there for small business owners and regular people, just to get a little bit of exposure to the public and the local community. So it's a good thing.
Absolutely. So let's just talk a little bit. Jump right in. Prior to this episode, we talked about your actual business, but the real estate thing is really what caught my eye. Because it was something different that I didn't even know you were doing initially. And then you started sharing a bunch of videos on social media, which grabbed a lot of people's attention because what you're showing is teaching us, the people who look forward to investing at some point. Where did that come out of nowhere? Were you always investing in property?
Yeah, well, I've been investing since 2012. I got my real estate license back in 2009. Which ultimately my goal was to be a real estate investor. And then I established my LLC in 2010, which is Reduced Price Real Estate. Okay. That's the company that I currently own that I buy and sell properties with, and I also buy and hold properties. I do have a couple other real estate entities because it is kind of smart to separate each asset. Okay. But the volume has really picked up so much for me that I kind of mushed some of it together, which isn't the most financially secure way to go about it, but I'm just being honest, that's the way I've done a lot of it. So a lot of investors that I learned from, they actually separate all their deals with separate corporations, so they carry each house carries its own liability. Gotcha. And for me, a lot of the way I'm doing this, I have some investors that back me on certain things. I put up a lot of my own capital, but I also have some financial backing from people that believe in my mission and my purpose and my process, and they've seen that it works and it produces results for both of us. So it's just been mutually beneficial relationships. Nice. So how did your first property work? Was it something that you actually wanted for yourself and then you ended up flipping it, or how that, or and what kind of property was it? No, it was a single family residence right in Orangewood, across from the Orangewood Apartments. It's still there. Nice family. Bought it back in 2011. Okay. That was my first one I bought. It was a foreclosed home, very distressed situation. Yeah. Husband and wife separated. Guy was a Marine. She couldn't get the guy out of the house. Yeah. He wouldn't leave. It wound up going into foreclosure. We wound up buying the project. Wow. For pennies on the dollar. I think it was like $75,000. Wow. It was worth like $200K. I estimated putting like $40,000 in it. Wound up spending like $70,000 to do it. Wow. And that was my first year in business. So I wound up trying to manage the demolition company, which wasn't established at all at the time, to going into my first flip where I had no experience, no knowledge. I just been a hit the ground type of guy, and I let the everyday business suffer. Managing the real estate project, went over budget. Made a crazy agreement with somebody and gave them 25% of the profits, which they wound up making more money than I did. Wow. I managed it for 6 months. I wound up walking away. I think got all my money back, and I made like less than $10,000 profit. Right. So that was a big eye opener for me. But what you made mentally, and the growth was, I'm sure, priceless. No, it was frustrating. It was taxing. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it again, and that's where a lot of people. Wow. You know, I'm being very transparent and honest with you. You know, that like these are like my real feelings and like really the emotions that I went through doing it. You know, it's like a roller coaster the real estate game is. A lot of people think you get in, you always do make your money on the buy, but if your numbers don't equate to what your estimations were on the buy, as far as your rehab and your money cost and everything else that goes into it, your seller's assist, your closing costs, your points, your conveyancing, if those numbers don't line up, that ultimately kicks in and kills your profits, right. Which a lot of people don't know. They go into the first deal, they overspend on the purchase, they overinvest on the rehab, they don't obtain the sales price they thought, and that's how a lot of people go bankrupt on their first deal. And then real estate, they get a sour taste in their mouth. Oh, real estate's not for me. It's not really that it's not for you. You just didn't implement the right process. Right.
You know. So mentally, how did you go from that very taxing situation to what was like the time frame when you did your next flip or your next investment?
I went right into another flip about 3 months later.
I
went in.
I love it.
And I mean, I've always been an all-in type of guy. You know, another deal pulled me right in, and wasn't another great deal. I was only doing one deal a year. From 2011 to 2018, I did 7 deals. Okay. One deal a year. Yeah. It was all I can manage. It was overwhelming. I was trying to get my business to thrive. I was trying to create money for people. You know, I was learning the steps of business. You know, I had just figured out how to make money for me. Yeah. I was figuring out how to get people to make money for me. Yeah. I mean, I got ahead of myself. I was figuring out how to make money for people. Right. Then I was figuring out how to get people to make money for me. And the real estate's the last goal, to get the money to make money. But I was kind of skipping a couple of those steps in between. Right. Which that's why I was only able to do one deal, to be honest. Yeah. The organization wasn't in order for me. The management, I was taking on a lot of things. And there was a lot of details in the process that until you go through it, you don't understand and you don't really see them. Yeah. You know, they're just like hidden obstacles that come up that you don't know about unless you've done it. Right. And that's what I was going into the next 2 or 3 years after that. And it was real discouraging, man. I ain't going to lie. Yeah. Real discouraging. Nobody believed in it. I mean, even at times, my wife had a little bit of reservations. I mean, she always stuck by me and supported me in my decisions and what I wanted to do, because I was still making sure I was taking care of us and wasn't putting us in a financially upside down situation. Yeah. But there are times, you know, even on that first deal, like when I put all that money in, I maxed out all my credit cards. Yeah. I maxed out my brother's credit cards. I borrowed money off, you know, and that at this point now I'm at the point to where I only bring those people in if there's an opportunity for them to make money and it benefits them. You know, I'm at the point now where if I can't do it myself, I have other resources that I'll be able to back it another way. Or I do create some opportunity for some people around me that are investors to make money, that are intrigued by real estate and want to be involved, but I don't really push it upon them anymore. You know, I just wait for the people that really want to be in the game.
So in your opinion, was getting the real estate license a good thing? Was it helpful, or is it something that somebody needs? Do you recommend that?
No, I don't recommend it. I mean, real estate agents, I know a lot of them. I'm not going to talk bad about them, but my license is in escrow. It wasn't for me. I got my license to understand market values, market trends, assess areas, assess comps, you know, and learn how to utilize it from an investment standpoint. Yeah. At the time I got my real estate license, I had just started the clean out business. And I was scrapping, I was doing clean outs, and you know, the way my broker taught me how to do it, cold calling, coming in the office, doing floor time, but I was making more money than him scrapping during the day, working 3-4 hours. Right. You know what I mean? So I was like, I didn't really correlate what he was trying to put down. I was telling him like, dude, you can tell me that, but if you ain't doing it, and I'm out here making more money than you, that's not really transparent to me. Yeah. So I tried it for like 6, 7, 8 months. I had a couple listings under my belt. I actually didn't sell any houses. Yeah. When I had my license. Yeah. Didn't sell any houses. I had a couple that almost closed. But it was a lot of over promising and under delivering for me. And I was in that market of 2009 and 2010, everybody was upside down from the 06, 07, 08 market where they overpaid. Now the values were down. The agents that were getting listings were not, you know, they were over promising and under delivering only because of the unrealistic expectation of the seller. Right. And then after 3 to 6 months, the buyers will become realistic when they see that they can't obtain what they wanted the agent to do, and now they would go by the agent's experience and then say, okay, now I'm going to go it your way, and then the house would sell. Right. I didn't have time to waste like that. I needed money to make every day.
Yeah.
You know, my mind was really focus on revenue generating things.
Yeah.
Because I had a family. I have an autistic daughter. I was a single family income. My wife didn't, have a stable way of creating revenue. We had 2 kids, and it was, I needed to make money every day.
So how are you finding your listings? So now you become an investor. 3 months later, you have your second property. How are you finding them? Like you said, it was a crazy deal. You couldn't refuse.
Yeah, I'll get to that. The next couple deals after that were like the same way.
Okay.
My system I was implementing, it didn't really make sense for every deal. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wasn't finding as many deals as a lot of people were just going out there buying houses. And I didn't have the avenues to bring in all the leads. I was getting a lot of deals brought to me, but a lot of them didn't make sense. They were wholesalers that were overpriced. Just every different scenario, short sales, foreclosures, everything that it just didn't make sense for the way I wanted to buy things, because the way I buy is like 65 cents on the dollar with purchase and repair costs based upon an actual ARV of comps in the area of sold properties, which is very hard to meet that number in any area.
Yeah.
Every deal doesn't make sense, but that's why the deals we do, we make money on.
Right.
Because every deal doesn't make sense to do in real estate.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know at that time. I didn't have all the experience.
Yeah.
To get back to your point about how I find the deals, a lot of my deals now, I find off my everyday business doing cleanouts. Because I deal with a lot of investors, homeowners, property managers, real estate agents, people that are in the real estate field. And a lot of times I'm the first step in coming in and either getting a project ready on the demolition side or clean out to sell it, or either to go in and demo it and try to sell it to investors. So I'm getting the inside avenue and a link before a lot of these people that are in the same position as me get that foot in the door. So when I'm out there looking at the property, I'm assessing not only the clean out and the demo, but before I leave that, if I like that location and I like that property, I'm already letting them people know that this is the price for your clean out, this is the price for your demo. But if you let me bring you a cash offer in 24 hours and buy this house, you don't have to worry about any of that. And I take a lot of the stress out of the process for the people now and add value in different ways that an investor that's not in my position doing this every day can't do.
Right.
It's a different type of value where I'm kind of giving them something that these other guys can't give. So it makes me a little more valuable. And I'm still bringing the same cash, closing in 30 days, little stress, little hassle, little aggravation. Homeowner has to do nothing to the property.
Yeah.
So it's a little more value than someone coming in saying, I want to buy your house, but as soon as they walk in the door, oh, you got trash here, you got this. They're beating everything down, where I can kind of sympathize with that person because they're already stressed out.
Right.
For one, most time they don't have the money to clean them out.
Yeah.
Because it's a family member's property.
Right.
2, it's a stress on their daily life and it's the inconvenience of what they're already doing.
Yeah.
And they don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
So where I come in is expedite and save all that. You know what I mean? You don't have to spend time. You don't have to come back. This can be your last time at this house if you want it to be.
Yeah.
If you're willing to accept this offer, I bring you in 24 hours. And if they're not, I'm okay with it. I'll still come and do the job and make the money and move on to the next deal.
There's a real estate investor and financial advisor, I guess, Dave Ramsey, and Dave Ramsey has his own radio show for years. Dude's multimillionaire, very successful, and his whole thing that he teaches / preaches is for himself. When he invests in, he has a criteria that every single property has to meet before he even says, before he even thinks or even considers purchasing the property. And it's basically kind of the same concept where not everything makes sense. Just because it might be a good deal for me doesn't necessarily mean it's a good deal for you, or vice versa. And it's amazing because this guy has maybe thousands at this point. I know he has at least hundreds of properties where clearly there's a successful pattern there when it comes to the investing. But he also talks about the scrapes on his knees that he had to experience when he first started out, because you come out with a lot of energy. You come out like you said, the books can't teach. It's just going to college. You learn about how to be, in management and how to be a manager, X, Y, and Z. Those textbooks and the same thing with these professors, they don't even manage anybody. They're just teaching people. That experience I only got because now I'm managing so many people, and then the book then becomes, comes to life, but way more the experience than the book.
Yeah, 100%, man. And there's different strategies and techniques for buying and flipping, buying and holding. And 7-8 years ago, my mentality, because the way I was taught to flip is that you need to have cash reserves. You need to build cash reserves because when properties don't rent, and the market changes, you can maintain and hold your properties. I was taught it wasn't good to carry real estate debt, a bunch of things that now I don't believe in 100%.
Okay.
I have a lot of real estate debt, but I have a lot of real estate equity.
Yeah.
The best debt I have is the real estate debt.
Yeah.
I'm going through a couple situations now. I have since the time we talked, I told you I set my goals this year. I think I got like 11 properties right now.
Wow. That's awesome.
I think I bought 8 this year. I'm closing on 1 tomorrow that I'm selling, and I'm buying another 1 tomorrow.
Nice.
And this is actually my first time that I'm actually buying, selling, and I'm collecting rent on another rental in the same day. So it's like now I'm starting to see there's little upsides to things.
Sure.
But it takes a long time to get to the point, to where you can see the light at the end of this tunnel.
Yeah.
And the reason why I do believe it's still flipping the properties is the way to go in the beginning when you don't have cash reserves or wholesaling, making money. You do need to have a little bit of capital backing you, whether it's I always like to have my own as a security and then utilize everyone else's.
Okay.
And I help everyone else make money the same way that I would make money with my own money. Then in turn, I build more relationships and I never have to question money, where it's coming from.
Right.
And so what I started doing the last couple of years, told you I set the goals up last year, was to buy 10 to 15 properties this year, which I'm definitely going to hit the goal on the lower end.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to hit the goal. And we will actually, by the end of the year, have 4 to 5 rentals that will have 1, that we don't own a mortgage on.
Wow.
2 that we're currently refining right now. And the one I'm refining now, I'm pulling $20,000 more than I have invested in the property. I've had it rented for 2 years. I got, we'll talk about the financials later, but it's a double-digit return, and I'm still cash flowing $500 a month after I get the mortgage.
Wow.
Same scenario. A house I bought 4 months ago was a single-family residence. I think we bought it for like $55K. Budget was like $78K. I did a 2-bedroom apartment upstairs, getting $1,000 a month. 1-bedroom apartment downstairs, getting $850 a month in a single-family house, and the mortgage is $1,000 a month.
Wow.
I took a private loan out of 105 because they only appraised it at 160 in the beginning. So on the front end, they only give you 65%.
Okay.
So with the purchase and repair, they only gave me 104. I had to put the other 30 something up and carry like a $1,100 mortgage. I've been carrying that for 6 months. Those are 2 other houses that I'm closing on this week, as well as the one I'm buying and selling tomorrow. So I have 4 closings this week. Wow. And I'm refining that property out to pay off the old mortgage. They wound up appraising it. Once I did the work to it, the appraisal came back at 209.
Whoa.
So now with that coming back at 209, that 209, they now on the back end, on the second side, give you 75% of value.
Okay.
So now I'm getting back 157 with the mortgage payment and the 35K I was out. I'm out of pocket 41K. Yeah. All 6 months, everything I got invested. I'm paying the 104 back. I'm getting the 41 back, and I'm putting 11 grand in my pocket. And I'm a cash flow $900 a month forever.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's one situation. And I just had the house I'm closing on tomorrow is another one around the corner that I already have appraised at 230. We're buying it for 52. We're putting 90 in it, 2-bedroom upstairs, 2-bedroom downstairs, $1,100 a month, cash flow another G a month. So what I'm doing now is every 3 deals, I'm keeping 1, I'm flipping 2. And I just keep buying. If it makes sense while I'm doing 3 or 5 or 7 like I'm doing now to keep 2 or 3, I'll keep 2 or 3. Yeah. Because I want 100, 100 package portfolio where I got 100 rentals, 100 units generating revenue every month. So and that's going to happen in the next 5 years. So
100 rentals?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So what area are you referring to? Because you said you had a property and then there's one around the way. Is that
area is right off by 52nd and Woodland, 19143 zip code. Right now I just sold one house in that area May 29th that I sold that was a flip from last year that we just wound up closing out and selling. That was one of them bad situations I told you with the fire. We wound up getting rid of that deal. Yeah. The duplex is 3 blocks over around the corner. The one house we're closing on right around the corner. So I have 2 properties in that zip code. I have another deal in Brewery Town that I'm closing tomorrow on like 29th and Girard.
Okay.
I have another that's on Newkirk Street. That one will be done tomorrow. We have another one on a parallel block that's same 1700 block on Dover that's on the market right now that we already rehabbed. I'm trying to sell that.
Okay.
I have 2 3-stories in Center City, 1 by 6 in South that we're about to sheetrock. I have one in Center City that's scheduled on Thursday to start. I just got approved for the full. It was a 2-story. We're knocking it all down and building a 3-story. So this Thursday, I'm going to post some videos. They're going to start the construction of knocking the whole building down. I have the property in Levittown that's in Red Cedar. I just bought that like 10 weeks ago. We're already done the project. I just wrapped it up today.
Wow.
That one will be on the market next week. The granite's getting installed tomorrow. And then I have another one down in the 52nd in University City.
Okay.
That one just got sheetrocked. They're starting paint tomorrow. So all the projects are rolling. You know what I mean? It's awesome. It's just like a well-oiled machine. You know, I got all the trades in position. At the point where I'm at now, it's just like make a phone call. I pretty much know where all my guys are going to be. And when they're not where I need them to be with price, I let them know this is what's in the budget. Either you want the 15 houses we got a year or you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had to fire a new granite guy. I mean, my old granite guy I've been working with for 3 years, 3 days ago. You know what I mean? I've been working with him. I waited 4 days for him to come out. He came and measured the stuff. Send his worker out that, you know, the guy's unprofessional. I called the boss. I felt like I gave him the opportunity to rectify it.
Yeah.
And, you know, he kind of pushed me off. And I told him, I said, dude, I give you 10 to 15 deals a year now because not only have I been giving him my deals, I have a big sphere of influence. So he's been working with a lot of other contractors that I have. He gets probably more than that a year.
Yeah.
And, you know, he told me that I can do what I want. He was tied up that day. So, you know, I went and that's not really the way that you handle a situation with me.
Right.
Because that's the quickest way to get yourself X'd out of my process.
Right.
I would have rather him told me that I'm busy, I'm overwhelmed, I'm having a rough day. I'm not even in the mood to deal with your strong personality right now.
Sure.
Let me hit you back later.
Yeah.
And it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But the way he addressed that situation, I called another company off of Craigslist, met the guy in an hour, saved $200 on the price, and now secured another relationship that I know him through working with other guys, and he's already verified who I am, and it's like we're already rolling. I met him on Thursday. The granite's getting installed on tomorrow.
Wow.
You know, but that's the difference when people see that you're serious and you live what you're doing instead of, you know, you can talk about a lot.
Yeah.
But when people see that you do this and you're living it and your actions show that you're just in the process and you're infused, they usually don't. I'm not looking for special treatment, but they treat you a little different as they should. Just as a little bit more of a priority because time is of the essence with everything when you're carrying costs every day, man.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing for me. Why I say guys should flip properties because even with the house that I don't fund myself, you know, I have to carry private mortgages on those properties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I'm probably carrying right now, $16,000 a month in mortgages.
Wow.
But it doesn't matter because I don't have all that capital invested into the deals. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right.
like, so now where I might have been putting all my capital in and get a 20% return, dollar for dollar, I'm putting money in, and on the money that I'm investing, I'm getting 80 to 100, 120% return on my money now. And I diversified the revenue into multiple sources and streams of income producing things.
Right on.
You know what I mean? So it's a little different than trying to get, you know, the whole goose and gander on one shot. I'm doing it over a multitude of things, working harder, doing more work, but I'm also helping more people make money, which in turn is helping me make more money and making me more relevant in the industry.
So I saw a video of an investor that you constantly post, big business, and one that kind of stood out for me was that he ordered a bunch of supplies. So he's doing so many flips that he has almost like a warehouse of supplies. How does that work for you? Is that something you were trying to do, or you just let the, who you hired handle like the supplies?
No, so the way my process works, I mean, I actually since I had my construction guys last time we spoke, but I have those guys still working for me full time. So I have 5 guys that are working for me full time that do all the finish work. So from framing doors, floors, trim, tiles, cabinets, everything that falls under that scope of work in a house, those 5 guys do.
Wow.
Then I have my own electrician that I sub out. I have an HVAC guy that I sub out the work, and we handle the plumbing in-house.
Okay.
So from the framing, plumbing gets done, HVAC, electric gets done, and from there we have a crew that we sub out and get the sheetrock, then we sub out and get the spackle done, then we sub out and get it painted. And from the time that happens, my guys are back in there 4 weeks, and that house is wrapped up, ready to be on the market.
Beautiful. So is that something to have your own guys? Is that something you want, or you like the subbing out?
For the trades, I like the subbing out, but the reason why I like having my own guys is the flexibility. Like today, the house I'm selling on Newkirk Street, there was one thing on the home inspection today. In order for it to close tomorrow, we put 3 bars on the window of the exterior of the property for safety. Yeah. But you can't have that on the first floor for safety purposes on a home inspection.
Gotcha.
So if that guy wasn't working for me and I had a home inspector coming out at 1 o'clock, I couldn't call that guy at 10:30 and make him be at that property at 11:30 and get them off by 1.
Right.
But since he works for me, they were installing doors at the house in Levittown. So leave the other 4 guys. You got them all the supplies for the day, and you go down there by yourself and go get it done.
Yeah.
And, that's the benefit of it. Yeah. There are days where it does drain and drag a little time, which costs you money. Yeah. But overall, the big picture, it saves me hundreds of thousands of dollars throughout the year.
Yeah. So is that, I know for your removal business that you have like meetings, morning meetings. Do you still have that with these guys too, or is your approach with these guys different?
No, it's the same. I mean, I'm a leader, so you got to lead by example, or if not, stuff just gets messed up, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's so quick. One bad decision, and if it's not corrected, and then another bad decision, and then before you know it, compiles so quick. So I give them the freedom to make decisions, and I don't try to dictate, but I do oversee and add value wherever I feel like I can add value. And there are times where we're all men, so sometimes we do clash heads. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's all about communication. Yeah. It's what it all boils down to. There's problems in any industry, any trade, any business, but when the lines of communication are open, you can always come to the right end result.
So what would your advice, or what's the secret to staying so organized when you have so many moving parts? I mean, just in the discussion, you're thinking you have employees on top of multiple businesses that are all running simultaneously. And when you have a hiccup, that kind of puts, like a kink in the chain, so to speak, where you have to send a guy to Philly or wherever it is, just so that, like you said, so you resolve the issue right then and there. So how do you keep organized, or what's the secret sauce there?
Hire more people.
Yeah.
Humble yourself. Yeah. Delegate as much as you can.
Yeah.
I understand delegation costs money, but the only thing that's the most valuable to me is my time.
Yeah.
I can get all the money back.
Yeah.
I was telling a guy the other day, I was talking to him, and I was like, man, it's so crazy. I've been a little overwhelmed with a lot of the flips because, like I said, I'm carrying a lot of overhead and things like that. And there's times, where human nature kicks in with me.
Yeah.
And then the supernatural's got to kick back in and be like, well, look, if God didn't think you could do this, he wouldn't give you this. And
yeah.
I get back into who I am. But there are moments of unclear visions, and I have human moments. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I always click back in on my own and just look at the big picture and just work it out. You know what I mean? It's so easy to get caught up in the moment and lose focus and spiral out.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I don't really have anybody to look to.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I always just grind through however I'm feeling. Even when I walked in, we'll talk later, but I've been having a little rough couple of days, and even today, I didn't want to make it, but I made a commitment to you guys. So
yeah.
I did what I had to do to make sure I was here. But
yeah.
that's just part of the value that I bring to situations. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I try to do anything within my power to hold my end of the bargain up. Yeah. That's just my value, because I feel like all I got is my word. And once my word is nothing, what else do I have?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So you put a bunch of videos up of some of the process that you're going through on social media. Can you explain a little bit about that? Is that more for purposes of showing, what can be, what's possible, or is it more of, like a teaching element?
To be honest, it's more of a teaching element for me, because ultimately I'm going to create my own program and teach people how to do this. And it's also creating relevancy to what I'm doing, because I'm so secretive and private as well as an open book. If you don't really know me, you really don't know what I do.
Yeah.
I'm so secure in myself, and I'm doing this for a different purpose. I'm not looking for stripes from people on the streets or pats on the back. I'm out here fighting legacy, man.
Yeah.
Like, I want to leave an impact that people can't touch and people can't forget.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you got to do some extraordinary things.
Yeah.
And along the way, your pride and ego gets stepped on a lot, because a lot of people don't see that vision. And it's just an uphill battle the whole time. You know what I mean? But I just try to keep my end vision in perspective, the things that I ultimately want to be doing, helping the community with the kids, with the pack, You know what I mean? Like I want to have big brother, big sister programs. I want to have a recreation center.
Yeah.
Like the things that I want to do in this community are things that they won't be able to take. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, and it takes a little while to do that when you don't have the right resources around you. And also I haven't utilized every resource the right way.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I'm a man and I'm willing to admit that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Because all this stuff isn't mapped out, man. It's not easy, and sometimes you make a decision and you just have to live with it. And as hard as it is, you can't get them back sometimes. You know what I mean? You just got to pick up the pieces and try to make a better decision the next time so you don't repeat the same mistakes over and over.
So how do you stay, and I know you have like a mission, you said you're fighting for the legacy. What's your motivation behind it all? What's the juice that gets you up in the morning? Even right now, I know you said, obviously you're a man of your word. But right now, you're human. All of us have our own situations of same thing, second guessing things. But like I said, I was going to be there. I'm going to do it. We're committed. What's the motivation?
I don't know, man. I'm just fighting myself, man.
Yeah.
I'm just fighting myself. Like every day, I just want to be better than I was yesterday. Like, I was telling the guy this the other day. Like, he was telling me, he's one of my dad's friends, and he's like, "Man, I don't know what you guys did." He like, "But whatever y'all doing is just working, man."
Yeah.
And I was like, to be honest with you, man, I feel like I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just starting out.
Right.
I feel like I'm at the bottom. Like, I feel like everyone's ahead of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's the way I feel about myself. Even though it's not reality, that's the way I really feel. Like every day I wake up humble. I wake up hungry.
Yeah.
I wake up so determined and driven to just go out and try to just create a little more.
Yeah.
It's just like my dad like instilled a certain thing in me when I was younger. He always used to tell me, like, you could just have anything, just go get it for yourself, put those boots on and go get it. And that's just something that stuck with me. It's like a so simple principle, but the hard work and the work ethic that you can't teach, it just rolls into every other thing. And people pick that up that are leaders, and it creates like a different sense of accountability. Yeah. And that's really what I'm trying to create for my people. You know what I mean? It's like, just do the best you can do and then push it more. Like, go to the next limit. Like, when you feel like you're tired and you're about to fall, like, run until you fall. Yeah. Yeah. Like, and then let somebody have to pick you up because you worked so much and exerted all your energy that you don't have anything to push on. Because when you're at that point, God always kicks in before you fall. Right. But that faith never reveals itself because most people don't believe in themselves that much. Yeah. You know, and it goes back to like the underdog mentality. Like, that's the easiest way I could describe it. Is like, I just feel like every day, like, everything's against me. Everybody's against me. Yeah. And as much as I try to show love, I just always try to add more value than I ever take. Yeah. In everything I do. And the people that I know, the people that I interact with, you know, like even some of my friends, they're like, man, like when you need stuff, you don't call. Like, you don't ask. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I just took care of it. It's like, I'm just a different type of person where I love to be there for people, but I hate to be a burden to them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, even though it's not that way, it's the way I feel about myself. Like, I'd rather go, you know, sacrifice 4 hours of sleep and do something that maybe someone else would have did for me and I could have slept. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why in my mind I work like that. Yeah. But that's just the way I'm wired and the way I work, man.
Well, it's definitely working. You're definitely making an impact on multiple people, the community. It's all positive stuff. And like you say, rough days are rough days. But I believe the value that you're adding, the impact that you're giving is absolutely blessing every single person that gets hit with it. Actually, we had Brian Johnson here last week, Johnson Lawn Care. And he said, he's like, I didn't have a father figure. He's like, you know who my father figure was? It was Dante Reeves' dad. He said, and look, I just got the chills. He said, it's the same, literally he said the same exact thing you just said. He said, I was just always around. He's like, I was young. These guys were older than me. I just didn't know who to look up to. So I looked up to whoever was older. We're just running around. And, you know, when they wanted something, their dad, you know, here's a bucket, here's some soap, go wash cars or something. And that he said that's how he learned. And then we're having a conversation with him prior to getting the show started, my brother Miguel and Brian were talking, and he was saying, you're the one who told him to just do it, go on a podcast, talk, or even starting the LLC, or just starting the business. So there's people out there, and, you know, the way he talks about you and the way he, you know, and everything that you do is so positive that it's crazy to see what you did, or a conversation you probably had with him 3 years ago, what it's manifesting now.
Yeah, I'm grateful to have that kind of impact, man. To be honest, that's actually a blessing, because that's not any reason why I do it. I'm glad that people take that from it, because that's my ultimate goal. But the things I tell people are really things that, see, like most people tell you things they don't do. The stuff I'm giving everybody, it works, but it's stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
It's not like I'm telling you something. Like, I have guys I meet in the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, like, dude, it's crazy to me. Like, I like, not to get off task, I work out at the Edge now.
Yeah.
And I met a guy there in the sauna one day, probably with Brian, about 3 months ago. I'm talking to the guy, and I hear him talking about property. He wants to get in, got a possible wholesale deal, wants to make some money, and I like, out of nowhere, I'm like, bro, just do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Why are you not going to do it, bro? Like,
right.
Like, you're going to work for somebody every day and clock in and keep chasing their dream, or you going to start chasing yours?
Right.
And that's how the conversation started. And before you knew it, you know, we were in the sauna, 5 men sweating, shirts off, fat guys. You know what I mean? Like, having a real heart to heart.
Yeah.
Like, and I see this guy, swear to God, bro, 2 weeks ago. I'm in there with my other buddy that I'm working out with, that I just met through another investor that me and him are now friends working out. It's just like the world works out so weird.
Yeah.
How it brings people together.
Yeah.
And I didn't even remember this guy.
Yeah.
And I gave him my phone number.
Right.
Because I don't care. I give anybody my phone number that wants to talk. Yeah, call me. And then most of them don't.
Right.
Because they talk. But they don't want to talk to the source.
Right.
They just want to talk about stuff. So I'm on the tricep machine. I'm doing press downs. And this guy, he walks up to me and he's like, bro, you're not going to believe it. He's like, I wholesaled the house. He's like, bro, I made $13,000 off what you told me in the sauna.
Wow.
He's like, and I'm like, dude, how long? I got excited.
Yeah.
I got the chills.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, what did I tell you? I'm like, what did I tell? All you had to do was try. I'm like, you did that one time.
Yeah.
I said, you do that 4 more times a month. You made your year's salary.
Yeah.
And that's only 1 month. You can stop working for that guy that pays you $60,000 a year.
Right.
I said, you can work 1 month out of the year and make the same money. You can chill the rest of the year, or you can do that another 4 times every other month.
Right.
And make however that is times 11 more times what you were making.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he goes, dude, are you kidding? I'm like, I'm not kidding you, bro. You just did it, and I wasn't even there with you.
Right.
We talked about some basic foundational principles in real estate. He never called me. Found a deal that he was going to buy himself and wholesale to somebody, came out of pocket $1,000 on a deposit, put it under contract, and wholesaled it and flipped the paper to somebody else. No construction work, no blood, sweat, and tears.
Wow.
$13K. Most
That's
guys
amazing.
that work don't make $13K a month.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, and this guy went and did that while he worked his regular job, and told me he didn't call me and tell me because he's been working 16-hour days and didn't have the time to call me.
Wow.
I said, how could you work 16-hour days for somebody and you make $13K in a month in 2 hours? But people don't have that kind of faith in themselves, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm trying to instill in people, is like, you got everything you already need to make it.
100%.
You already got it.
Yeah.
I already got it. You got it. We all got it.
Yeah.
But that dream got to be followed by some hard work. Those setbacks and those struggles and that adversity, you got to go through that to appreciate the blessings.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't go through that adversity, what is the success means nothing to you.
100%.
Look at the people that are given success. Look how fast they lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the people that have to work and attain it through hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. Most of the time, they maintain it a lot longer.
Yes.
Because they understand that journey and the struggle. And then people are saying, you know, like, oh, this guy, this and that, you know, and like Drake said it the best. He's like, everybody loves you when you're working towards something, but not when you have it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's the world we live in.
Right.
But I want to add value that the people that have it, they ain't looking down on nobody unless they lifting somebody up. Like, they're just adding value. Like, and that's why I get around leaders, you know what I mean? And I surround myself with people that add value. I surround myself with a lot of people that have more value than me.
Yeah.
Because if I got the most value in the room,
Right.
everybody just pulling off me.
Right.
I want resources. You
Right.
know what I mean? If I needed you, I want to be able to call you. Because if I call you, I really need you.
Yeah.
because I'm not the guy. Like, it's hard for me to call you. It's harder for me to call you than it is for me to go do it.
Right.
I'm just being honest, because like the way I feel about myself, like, I don't ever like to devalue myself. And even though it doesn't devalue me, that's just the way it makes me feel as a person, as a man. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather go and try and fail and then be like, all right, I got to get this help now because I failed. Mm-hmm. And then once I've done that, certain things, as I get older, I'm getting wise, and I'm stopped trying to figure out. And I'm like, you know what? That's just not my specialty. Let me just pay for that. Mm-hmm. Because I learned off these 3 other things that I tried that I didn't know. And I lost this much time, this much money, this much aggravation. Yep. And you have to go through that, though, to see it. Yeah. If you don't go through, it's easy to say, yeah, you have to do this, because if you don't, you're going to. But when you go through it and it smacks you in the face and there's no way out, I'm just grateful and blessed enough to been able to be in some situations. And when I was in those situations, God put the right people in my place to help me bail me out. Because there's times I needed help. Mm-hmm. And he's been there for me every time. Mm-hmm. Even the times where I lose faith in myself sometimes because I'm human. Yep. And then the supernatural kick back in. It'd be a moment of clarity. I'd be riding something. It's another message or another form that the Lord makes me receive something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like, I'm just so receptive. And at the point I'm at, it's like, you got to be in a humble mind state to be that receptive. Because there's a lot of negativity that comes with that. You know, there's a lot of people that, you know, they throw shade. You know, it's just part of it. You know what I mean? Like, I embrace those people and try to help them too. Yep. You know, I just try to leave value, you know, wherever I am. Yeah. Because I have people every week try to steal from me, try to take from me, try to kill my process. Yeah. And they don't do nothing but cover me and bless me more. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem that they have, that they can't affect who I am. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I come out with a smile, and I come back and I give back more, and I bless somebody else. And then it's just part of it. You know what I mean? You can't, I'm just learning, like, you can't make everybody happy. You know what I mean? You just got to be happy with what you were doing, with what your purpose was. And even when your intention doesn't get met, you just got to know that you went with a pure intention and with love and respect. And that's how I do everything. Yeah. You know, that's why it's easy for me to demand respect, because I'm the first one to show respect to everybody. 100%. I mean, I don't care if I'm in a club, or I talk to the trash guys. I talk to the people doing the things that make that operation work. Because I know it's bigger than the guys that are sitting up top that represent that corporation. The people that are on the bottom in the trenches are the ones that are really making this process be implemented every day. They're really the ones that need to be highlighted. Yeah, because they're the ones that are putting the hard work and the footwork that these people are now benefiting off of. Yeah. And, you know, that's my value. Even my guys, I try to add that value to my team. You know, even my guys that work for me, like, I'm trying to get them to buy houses. Yeah. My guys that do construction, I'm trying to get them to buy houses. Yeah. You know, and these are 40, 50-year-old men. Yeah. I'm 35. Yeah. It's not, I'm not just a good-looking guy or great guy while they believe in me. Yeah. It's the process that we're implementing that they see works. Yeah. They see me doing the hard stuff. They see me dealing with the setback. They see me dealing with the struggle. They see the vacations. They see the money. They see the cars. They see the trucks. They see the houses. They don't see me up every night till 1 o'clock, waking up at 4 o'clock. Right. They don't see that behind the scenes. Right. And I'm good with that. Right. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to let their self-limitations dictate my results. Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, like, that's just who I am. Like, I've always been that guy. I love when people tell me I can't do stuff. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I love that, because the thing that stagger people are the things I tackle first. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I smile about it through the adversity, and people are like, how are you smiling? I'm like, 'cause I got to keep from crying. Yeah. You see, I'm getting choked up, like, I want to cry. Yeah. So I smile. Right. But that's what I've learned over the years, you know what I mean? Because when I was younger, that wasn't acceptable. Yeah. I get upset and emotional. I was a little softer when I was younger. Yeah. And that wasn't acceptable with my dad. Yeah. Not because he wanted to raise a street guy or tough guy. He just wanted you to be self-sufficient and stand on your own. Yeah. And be a man. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's the stuff that he implemented. It's crazy how you even talk about Brian Johnson, because growing up, I mean, Brian's always been my little brother. Yeah. I mean, this guy, he's 2 years younger than me, but he's always been my equal, still to this day. He's one of the only guys, man. He's had a rough life, but he's been one of the only guys that was there, like, through real stuff.
Yeah.
Like, when my dad was making us do that stuff, and all my guys I thought were my real friends, that were my age, they all disappeared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's the only one that ain't never disappeared.
Right.
And they never have an ulterior motive.
Right.
And they never judged me by what I was. They judged me by who I was.
Right.
That's the type of relationships that I want. That's the type of value, like I told him, that's the value that you're going to leave out here that people are going to buy into.
Mm-hmm.
That joking demeanor and that smart aleck, there's people that ain't going to like that. But there's people that really understand you, that know that that's just your way of showing love and enlightening the moment.
Yeah.
And people that don't really know you, they will take it
a
certain type of way. It's because they don't know you.
Right, right.
And that energy ain't for everybody. But the ones that are receptive to it, they're going to see that he's one of the best men you'll ever meet.
Yeah, yeah.
And I say that, I don't say that about a lot of men.
Yeah.
But I really feel like that about him.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's a good guy, man. And I wish Johnson's Law Care, you know, they started out, they're making great strides. They've been servicing all my properties.
Nice.
He's been servicing a lot of my contractors, investors.
Nice.
I've been doing a great job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just like him and a lot of other small business owners, you know, I just want them to keep pushing, keep striving, keep taking that setback, you know, those no's, and just keep striving for them yeses.
I love it. Let's change gears a little bit because something that you had actually dropped on our first episode with you, and then you just alluded to it again about setting up your own program and doing the whole teaching thing. What is your take? What will you think your approach will be? Because we're all just talking about going to actually a real estate and event locally that they're having, but I've been to so many, and no offense to any particular person or model, 95% of them are just trash. They're not. There's not real value, and then you get there and then they hook you in, and then they ask for more money, and it's just like.
You're 100% right. See what it is? It's superficial. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the way they reel you in. So the way they do it is a lot of people reel you in to what's a free 2-day course.
Right.
But that 2-day course is designed for them to sell.
Right.
If they don't sell you within that 2-day course to get you to invest in that course, which is tens of thousands of dollars, you don't get any value from that.
Right.
So you go to the first meeting, which is free. And then that first meeting, they reel you in and say, for $700 or $1,500, you get a weekend with this star that doesn't even show up. You don't know it when you give them the $1,500. Right. They get your $1,500.
Right.
Then they get you to another weekend.
It was just a funny thing that actual event. They're like, Tony Robbins is going to be there, right? Not to name drop or anything, but still. Yep. And it was like, so people were like, what night is he going to be there? Like, we're not allowed to say.
He's going to be there.
Yeah, but he's going to be there. Make
in
sure
spirit. He's there in spirit.
He said in spirit.
While you're signing your checks, they're going to his bank account. That's what they meant. He's going to be there. That's his corporation and entity that set that up, and you're funding his corporation.
And his flight got canceled.
No, it didn't. They're not even going to lie and tell you that. They're going to tell you that when you talk to one of the real, they're going to tell you he's at another event where he's getting that tens of thousands of dollars that they're signing you up for, and you're going to see him if you pay for that.
Right. Exactly.
Or if you don't, you're not going to see him. It's just the reality of it. You know what I mean? Because it's like everything out here. And you'll rationalize this probably a lot more than some of the real estate stuff just because you don't do it. There's more money in education than anything in our world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
School, biggest one. Yeah. How many people you know got teaching degrees? How many people you know are teachers?
Ton.
How many people you know that got teaching degrees that do other jobs? A lot more than people that are teachers.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But they still have that debt, Yeah. And for me, what I want to do, I'm mentoring 3 guys right now that I won't even say their names because I'm silently mentoring them. But these guys are all buying deals. We're funding deals themselves, and I showed these guys how to diversify with my private company and leverage their capital and do more with the same funding they have, help people make money and build relationships that'll last long term.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to show people how to make money with no money out of pocket. Really.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to do that.
Yeah.
Not only I'm not going to tell you how to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to do that by the people that I'm teaching do this, they're going to represent me better, just like these guys do. But I'm going to do it in a different form and fashion where I'm not trying to take on 1 million people in the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean? Eventually, I do believe I'll teach more than 1 million people how to do this.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I really do. But in the beginning, that's why I started out with 3 guys. And when I set those goals last year, to take these 3 guys and pick up 2 more over the next 2 years. And now over that next 2 years, while I do 40 deals, because I'm going to do 15 this year and probably 20 to 25 next year. So while I do that, I'm going to get these guys collectively between the 5 of them to do at least 5 to 15 deals, 25 deals in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have real statistical data.
Yeah.
What they bought properties for, how they bought the properties, how they found them, what they spent on repairs. And we're going to video this stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to be live just like this, like
Yeah.
what you thought you were doing. No, basically, like the way I look at things in life is just like a dream. Like when I set my plans up to do stuff, like I dream about things, then I speak it, because when I speak it, I give it existence and oxygen, which oxygen brings things to life.
Yeah.
Then I write them down so I can't forget about them.
Yeah.
And then I go out and implement application until it comes to life.
Yeah.
And that application involves every part of the process. It seems generic, but that application, I mean, whatever it takes to see your end goal come to life. That's the application part to me. And there's a lot of steps in that, even buying a deal.
Yeah.
Like I could walk you through that if you guys wanted to know. But it's like there's just so many steps, and when you really do it, I can explain it to you now and you'll get overwhelmed, but when you do it, you're going to get even more overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But there's what people get caught up on is the time. Like I say, that's the most valuable thing to me. You know how many deals have stayed on time and on budget for me? None.
Right. Right.
None. So, but it hasn't deterred me. You just have to have a different type of self-awareness, a different type of drive. You have to be able to go through those bad times, because it's not going to happen like you think. And you got to realize that that's okay.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just like I can correlate that to when you guys had it and lost power.
Yeah.
What did you say? We're not switching the plan. We just switched the date.
Right.
We didn't switch what we were doing.
Right.
Just ain't going to happen the date and time we set out.
Right.
That's what we intended.
Right.
We all were there to do it.
Yeah.
But there was uncontrollable circumstances that stopped that.
Right.
Me, in my mind, I wouldn't even have talked about that. I respect you more for talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's you staying in tune with your viewers and people that are expecting that. You're giving them a reason why it's not going to be there.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? For me, I would have let it go, did other things because I'm so busy, let it go. And then when I did it, would have talked about it after I did it.
Right.
So there's different approaches, but we still basically had the same intention, just 2 different methods of doing the same thing.
Right.
Is all I'm trying to get you to understand that we're all out here doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Trying to make something work, but some of us aren't getting around the right people. Then some of us are getting around the wrong people. Then when you got the blind following the blind out here. Everybody got masks on and walking down the street holding hands, wondering why they're in the river.
Right.
What I mean? Because the street ran out, and somebody needed to look.
The street ran out, just period. There's just no more.
There's got to be a leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, it sounds funny, but it's so real.
Yeah.
And this is what people do that we know.
Yeah.
And then they're so unaware of their faults and their shortcomings. It's so much easier to put the blame on somebody else.
Yeah.
Like people tell me stories and they're like, man, I can't believe this guy did this. And and I'm like, so whose fault was that?
Yeah.
This guy. I'm like, but whose situation was it?
Yeah.
It was your situation. Who was going to prosper from that if he did the right thing? You were.
Yeah.
Who's going to suffer if he did the wrong thing? You were. So who's responsible? You were.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they don't want to say I am.
Right.
They want to blame it on somebody else, because it preserves ego.
Right.
For me, I'm so humble, like I'm okay admitting when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why my guys respect me like that.
Yeah.
Like if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Right.
Now if I'm wrong and I cover being wrong up with my title and who I am and try and justify it because I'm the boss and the leader, I devalue myself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
When I accept it for what it is and accept, that was a mistake, dude. I made a mistake. Let's redirect and let's get it right.
Yeah.
Like for me, the problems don't kill me because I'm a problem solver.
Yeah.
Like I'm just used to it now. And I've gotten so used to it to where it's like, I don't even like talking about it. People, they're like, well, I always say, well, why don't express this? I'm like, I done solved more problems than you guys went through today. Right. And if I talked to you about it, I would have probably solved 3 less problems. Right. So that's why I got busy and started working, because I was trying to tackle as many problems as I could. Right. And sometimes I forget to even tell details that are important. Right. Right. And then days later, I'll be like, she'll be like, well, you were broke down on the side of the road and you had to get, I'm like, yeah, that did happen. I forgot to tell you. Like, truck did break down. That happened. That did. Right. But it's like I'm so infused with what's going on. Even today, trucks broke down today. 2 trucks. Guy went to a dump an hour away. Calls me when he's at the dump, and I'm an hour away from him. I'm like, you don't, because that dump doesn't have my credit card on file. I'm like, don't you think you should have called me when you left the site an hour ago so I could meet you? Right. Now you're sitting for an hour for no reason, and you can't go back to the job. But it's like people don't rationalize when it's your time and your money. But if it was at his expense, like now when he did that. We were in Leventon. I said, okay, now you're done at 1:30. He's like, oh, I was going to go back to you were if you were done an hour ago. Right. But now you're not. You're only going to work 6 hours a day, 5 hours a day instead of 9 or 10. Right, right. I'm not doing that to cut his hours. Yeah. I'm doing that so he understands. I just paid you from Bristol an hour to drive, an hour back. You went to another job. I paid you 40 minutes to drive, 40 minutes here. You've been on the clock for 5 hours. You drove for 3.5. Yeah. I don't care about paying you for that. Yeah. But do the things you need to do to save the time. Yeah. Be accountable to be as efficient and effective throughout the day to generate revenue for this business. Right. If you don't generate revenue, checks don't get cut. If jobs don't get completed, we don't have money to pay payroll. Right. Like people don't understand that when they just see problems happen and things getting solved, and you know, a guy walking around walks up on the site and everybody's like, "Oh, can I borrow this? Can I get this?" Like, and I'm like, "No." Yeah. Like, yeah. It's like you would think I'm a banker. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's like I have so many roles under being the guy in charge. Right. It's like you have to still address that in the right form and fashion and not be demeaning and still say no in a nice way. And like still get them to go back and keep them motivated to keep working now that they didn't get what they want. It's like you're a therapist, a babysitter, a life coach, you know, a step husband. And it's like, it's like a step husband. It's like you're doing like all this stuff for these people that like it consumes you, dude. Yeah, yeah. I mean, think about what you guys do. How many steps that people don't see, what you do behind the scenes to make this happen. 100%. You know what I mean? Like people don't know what you do. Yeah. They just see Jimmy. Oh, there go Jimmy. I ain't liking that video. Go buy it. They don't see the preparation and the thought you put into that. Yeah. And even if it didn't come across, they don't see your true intention. Yeah. Until they give it chance to come to life and they get receptive. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, and, absolutely. And for me, that's where, you know, my thing is always about adding value. Like I do a lot less with the speaking part to people because I don't like to waste words. Yeah. So like when I say stuff, it usually goes over a lot of people's heads anyway. Yeah. So for me, I got to the point where I'm not like trying to explain it unless I want to. Right. You know what I mean? So I just do what I wanted, leave the message. A lot of times I leave messages, I get phone calls for the next 2 hours. People are calling, oh my God, I want to do that. And I never hear from the people again until I post another video. Right, and they call me again. They look at the video. They took nothing from it. They got inspired for a few seconds. They called. They wanted to talk to me. They hear what I'm doing. They talk about things they want to do. No application follows after that. And they're in the same situation 6 to 12 months later, 2 years later. Right. But that's because of they didn't get started moving. Right, right. You know, think about when you didn't know this. You didn't have this always like this. Not at all. Not even you started close. Moving. Right. You started figuring it out. You were like, okay, I'm going to do this. We ain't have no signs. No. We're going to do this in my house. Sweating. We're at the desk. At the desk. Yeah, you know, and it's like you get it right. And then you figure, oh, now we're going to add this. Now we're going to add the apparel. Now we're going to add this. Now everybody got a name. Now everybody, you know, the people, the viewers and everyone tuning in, they don't only look forward to you. They look forward to the insight from the guys. Exactly. It's a different type of energy that you're creating and a different type of value that you're adding because you're giving something away. Right. Exactly. My biggest thing is, man, what I respect about what you guys are doing, I respect more because I know there ain't real benefit for you right now. Right. Exactly. But you're trying to add value. Exactly. You know, like you can't buy value. Yeah. Yeah. But when they can't live without it, they will pay for it. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I promise you keep doing what you're doing, and that's what they're going to be doing. You're going to have marketers and advertisers and everybody trying to be a part of what you're doing after you lay the foundation. So just know your value when that comes. Yeah. Because they're all willing to take advantage for nothing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I never wanted to be that guy. So when I see people trying to do stuff, I support them before they ask me to support them.
Yeah.
Because not because I have to, I need to, because in my business, none of my real friends supported me.
Right.
None of them.
Right.
And you know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It made me a different type of person.
Yeah.
But for everybody, that's not the same way.
Right.
Some people need that one person to support them, and that makes them believe something in themselves that they didn't believe.
Yeah.
Then in turn makes other people believe something about them because of the way someone else made them feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I support anybody trying to do things. I mean, guys with details. I don't care what you do. I mean, you do construction. If you're a solid dude and you got good character and integrity and you're trying to do something, I'll do anything for you that I could to help. That don't take away from my resources.
It's amazing. It's crazy because I took the video down, but I was promoting. It was a video where I was promoting the podcast, and we had a celebration down for our Heritage Puerto Rican Day here in Bristol, and I was trying to explain something, but to me, I felt like it came off like the wrong way, and I never said it ever. We're in the podcast for 3.5 years now. I never said, you guys, and I don't know why I even said it. I'm like, we don't make money off this. Like, I'm like, people, I don't think they realize the way we make money is you come to Miguel's Riverside Barbershop, get your hair cut. You go to blessed.com and buy a t-shirt. What we're giving is free.
It's not free.
Right.
It's not free.
Right.
You're choosing to give it away for free.
Right.
Which is more value than you could understand.
Right.
Because this equipment wasn't free. This presentation wasn't free.
Right.
Everything behind what you do is not free. This is production.
Right.
Like, this has value.
Oh, absolutely.
And if I didn't think it had value, I have a lot of value. I wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
If I didn't think it added value to you, I wouldn't be here. Because I ain't worried about adding value to myself, to be honest.
Right.
And I'm not saying that from a way of like a different type of thing. I'm saying it out of respect for you and what you guys do. That's just how I've been, you know what I mean, my whole life. Because I've gotten more with less publicity than all of my friends that you know.
Right.
Absolutely. I've gotten more with less.
Yeah.
I've gotten more with less.
Right. Right.
So that shows that the social media and all that stuff is great.
Right.
The friends and all that is great. But if I didn't know how to present it and I can't add value with it, to me, I devalue myself.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do the social media stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a great video guy.
Yeah.
I articulate myself well.
Yeah.
I don't write sentences well.
Right.
I read well, I can understand, but I learn better off of audio. Right. If I read, I don't comprehend things the same way.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like I'm being as transparent as I can with you. And I tell, I'm willing to tell this to these kids that I'm trying to impact.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you're real with someone like that and you let them know, I'm the same as you.
Right. Right.
I'm the same as you.
Right.
I'm just choosing to make different decisions every day.
Right.
And I'm doing what's hard every day, continually.
Yeah.
Without knowing if it's going to work out.
Right.
With that blind faith.
Right.
When all those things are in coordinates together, it don't matter to me the result.
Right.
I told Brian, I said, man, I've been so stressed out, but what I don't care, I'm all in right now. If I fail, my family's going to know that I went out trying to build something for them.
Absolutely.
And failure is not an option.
Absolutely.
It ain't an option.
Absolutely.
But if I did, I would be content with that. And in 6 months to a year, I'll be right back up.
Right.
Because I know how to get it.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
And you can't take that value away when you know that about yourself.
100%.
But most people think it, but they don't believe it because they never proved it to themselves.
Right.
They're saying it, trying to make someone else believe it and like it, but they don't really feel that way about themselves.
Right.
I really feel the way that I feel about myself. Like I love me more than anyone could ever love me.
Right.
Ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Brian says it all the time. He always joking with me. Every time around, you see the kid, he just grabbed the phone. I'm not a video guy, but I joke with my friends like that.
100%.
That's just who I am. That's how I lighten the moments up. You know what I mean? I love to smile. I love to laugh. I love to have fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know when to separate that and be serious without having to explain it.
Absolutely.
And when people misinterpret that, it doesn't bother me about having to, do what I feel is like setting the situation straight.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know when to separate the business and friendship, then you're not really a businessman. Like it's cool to be friends, but you got to know when to separate the two and when it's time to turn it on.
Absolutely.
Because there's always opportunity around, but we just ain't always receptive to it.
Right.
And a lot of time it just walks right by.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I'm like, it's so crazy. I know all these people going everywhere else, but everything else I got, it's right in front of me. Everything I took advantage of was right here.
Right.
And all my friends that hated on me when I was driving, man, I remember driving in these streets, picking trash, man. 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, 12, 3, 4 in the morning, out on the streets all day, waking up 12 o'clock at night, going out, sleeping 3-4 hours a night like I do now. Not doing anything I'm doing now, but having the same intention.
Yeah.
But not knowing how to get there.
Yeah.
And everyone else not believing in me.
Yeah.
Except myself.
Yeah.
Even times I felt like my family didn't believe in me.
Yeah.
But if I would have lived in those moments, I would have settled for their self-limitation.
Right.
And then that would have become both our destiny. It's not an option in my life.
Yeah.
I want people I want to create like a supernatural energy around people. Like that's like, it just absorbs you.
Yeah.
And you just get so infused with so much that it's like, I can't fail.
Right.
I just can't fail. The only way I can fail is if I quit. I'm going to get setbacks. I'm going to get obstacles. But as long as I'm moving in the process and taking little steps, you might spend days on something and not see growth and progress, but it's showing you something that you're not receptive to right now.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I love about God. He doesn't just always beat us down and take everything away from us because, all of us fall short.
Yeah.
He keeps us on that level until we figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
sometimes he keeps us on that level for years.
Yeah.
Because there's little simple principles that we're not figuring out.
Right.
And we fine tune those things, and then we get more growth in 3 months or 6 months than we ever did in the last 52 months.
Right.
Doing the same thing, same intention, wrong resource, wrong person.
Yeah.
Trying to add value to the wrong things.
Right.
Go out there and add some value to some things that you don't know.
Yeah.
And that people can't live without.
Yeah.
And those people that you don't know are going to add more value back to you because you gave something away to them first, and they're going to feel entitled to do something for you bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
Even if it's just creating and opening doors for relationships. Like the best thing people have done to me and for me is pass my name around.
Yeah.
Because of my character and integrity and because of my workmanship and because of my quality and what I represent.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have those other things in position, that would have never came to life.
Right.
So all the parts of the puzzle play together for me.
Yeah.
But it's just about figuring out how to play the game out and not burn yourself out. Not give away too much value that you lose value.
Right.
Not give enough value and not have any value.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to figure out because we weren't taught this stuff younger. You know what I mean? Like if you think about if any of our parents had a business background.
Right.
Like, think about everybody here has a good house, good family. Like, why? Because you've seen your parents work.
Right.
They taught you how to take care of a house. They taught you how to be a good man, character, integrity, how to be a good family guy. And those things worked. We picked it up because we were taught that.
Sure.
We seen it done.
Sure.
We saw them go to work. We didn't see them run a business.
Right. Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to teach my kids is something different. And they're even in the same boat. Life is so good, they don't even really want to try a lot of things. And I tell them, like, daddy's going to die.
Yeah.
And my daughters, they're like, I don't want to talk about that. I'm like, look, let's get real.
Yeah.
It's the only thing all 4 of us got in common.
Yeah.
We're all going to die.
Yeah.
And when daddy's gone, the little millions are going to run out.
Yeah.
I promise they are.
Yeah.
Because it ain't enough when you're not generating and creating.
Right.
What I want is independent, self-sufficient people around me that can create no matter what, no matter what environment, no matter what the circumstances, no matter how you feel.
Right.
You got to be able to get up and just push through, and just go. These last 2 days for me, man, been rough.
Yeah.
On a personal level for personal decisions, you know, not my family, but just personal things with myself.
Yeah.
You know, that it's eye-opening, man.
Yeah.
It's eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
And it puts me in check. It's so crazy how situations make me self-reflect. Without a consequence, with the Lord's blessing and his grace and mercy protecting me, where there shouldn't have been grace and mercy, and he still pulls me through.
Yeah.
something about that makes me pay attention and be receptive to the message, where most people will say, I'm going to get away with that again.
Yeah.
I try to learn from them. And sometimes I still do make the mistakes again, but I try to learn from all the adversity, man. Like, all of it. And it's a hard thing, man, because we're all trying to survive.
Right.
And when you're trying to survive, sometimes, something you got to do to survive ain't always ethically the right way.
Sure.
And you're rubbing boundaries, you're rubbing lines, and then, and what's easy the second time? To break the rules and the boundaries when it was easy to do it the first time and we didn't get caught.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not to say that like that's something that I'm going through. I'm just saying that's just a scenario that I'm saying in life, that like when we're not accountable, self-accountability, like to me is like a big thing, man.
Yeah.
Like it's a big thing.
It's the whole, and two, what's crazy is most people go through situations but don't even ever reflect. As we're saying, you're saying that situation forcing you to reflect. Now, a more mature version of yourself, but maybe 10 years ago, you probably just kept it moving. I know I did. There's time, and I feel the same way, that we get sometimes, I'm like, why do I keep coming to this corner that creates so much frustration every 2-3 years? It's because you didn't learn the first time he threw it my way.
But it's good because he's still letting you level up in other areas.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
That's the grace and mercy.
Absolutely.
And he's still making sure your family's good, you're healthy, you're still there, and he understands your intention.
Right.
But the know-how on every level isn't there. So to be honest and say that is a different type of value.
Right.
You know how many people are in the public eye and don't know jack,
Right.
but they're not going to ever say that, and they're going to act and act and act until they can't anymore, and then before you know, you're like, that guy's a scam. He was full of it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no transparency. Like, there's everything that's real he doesn't show.
Right.
All they do is highlight the successes. Like, for me, I'm trying to show both sides of it. I deal with more adversity and setback than any success ever.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Absolutely.
I deal with more problems than any success you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
But you know what people focus on? The 10% of success.
Right.
Like, even my business.
Yeah.
My conversion rates, I'm only 25% conversion rate.
Yeah.
And a guy the other day was telling me, he was like, how, like, so you convert 25%? How are you in business? I said, I have a partner that runs another company that I don't make any money off. I'm just a partner with him in the company, and it's his business. And he does double the work I do, double the jobs every year.
Yeah.
Converts 65% of his estimates.
Wow.
And my revenue's double his.
Wow.
I'm not saying that I'm better than him.
Yeah.
Some people want to cut 100 lawns and make $20.
Yeah.
I want to cut 20 lawns and make $150.
Right, exactly.
I got more money.
Yeah. Efficiency.
No, I got more money.
Yeah.
That's it. But you don't know that in the beginning, because you know what people are doing. Like the guy Sean Swain said it the other day, on the internet the best. He said, man, I hate when people come to social media and ask for a service. People refer me on there. The people that they refer me to, a lot of times I don't even get the jobs or even contact or call.
Yeah.
They're not my customer.
Exactly.
My customers look for me.
Exactly.
I don't look for my customers.
Exactly.
Ever. I give you an estimate and a price, and if you're not happy with it, I'm going to know, because you're not going to call me back, because I'm not calling you. Right. I love you. I respect you. If you call me, I'm going to give you the best customer service that you were looking for in this industry.
Yeah.
But if you don't show me that initiative that you want my service, I already know that my price was too high. I'm not going to waste time on that. Yeah. And kill my value and waste where I can go add value somewhere else.
Yeah.
Every customer ain't for everybody. That's okay.
Yeah.
I tell guys, every customer ain't for me, but those 70% of customers, they wanted me to work. I'll go on vacation. I don't want to work to work.
Right.
I want to work to make money and create resources.
Right.
I don't want to work anymore.
Right.
And that it's hard to decipher which is what.
Right.
And in the moment when you're trying out and you're starting, you're just trying to get work. Mm-hmm. You're hungry. And people take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. And they slaughter you. And you kill yourself, you burn yourself out, and you think that running your own business ain't for everybody.
Right.
No, the business was running you. You weren't running the business. Mm-hmm. And this is what I tell a lot of people. You got to run the business. You can't, if you're out there doing every job. My brother taught me this lesson 5 years ago, and it's been one of the best lessons that probably anybody's ever taught me. I used to want to do every job.
Yeah.
I'd be like, bro, I work like 2 people. If I had to go do the job, I save 2 or 3 guys. I'm saving $300-400 a day plus the profit I was making.
Right.
He's like, yeah, but you're losing thousands in revenue.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. I was like, wow. And my back hurts. I was like, so,
right.
you know, and it was just like, I did that for 7-8 years.
Right.
I thought that was the way. But someone that I respected, like I don't respect most other people, said something to me that was so simple that I already knew. But I was ready to be receptive at that point because I was tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
My back hurt.
Right.
I was like, I got to get some guys.
Yeah.
And then I went out there and realized when I go do that job, my value is only at the hour that I pay that guy per hour.
Mm.
You know, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's a deep thing to realize about yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I was putting my value at $15-20 an hour when I can get $30-40 an hour per guy per day.
Right.
It ain't costing me no money anyway to do it. The customer's paying.
Right.
So why am I out there trying to keep everything? So in turn, it's like when you go out there that's why I have this mentality now where I add more value than I ever take. Because I don't have to pull them. Then the universe starts reciprocating that energy. And you don't got to worry about the people giving back to you. The universe start giving back to you.
100%.
And that's where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the things I'm doing now, I'm doing it to impact the lives because I feel like the people that God puts in front of me or puts me in front of, there's a reason and there's a purpose for that.
Yeah.
Whether it's for me to be utilized, used, for them to be utilized or used to benefit whatever purpose or process, I go through it with a smile. And I don't do it with an intention looking for something back.
Yeah.
Because they could never pay me back what I'm worth.
Absolutely.
But the universe can.
Absolutely.
Because it has unlimited supply.
Absolutely.
And it's all God's, and ain't none of us taking any of this.
Right.
And when you're helping his kids and sowing seeds that are bigger than you, it's the same thing he got doing for the guy that you're planting a seed for that's going to lift you up to the next level and level you up.
Yeah.
And that's the way all my relationships are working. And I'm at the point now, I tell guys, like, I'm not working for you.
Yeah.
People are like, you told them that? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And guess how stressed I am? Not at all, because they're not calling me stressing me out no more. Yeah, you might have thought I wasn't making money off them anyway.
Right.
They were pulling from me.
Yeah.
If you pull more from me than you could ever add, I separate myself now.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for the confrontation. You're going to see if I don't value you by the way I deal with you.
100%.
You're going to see how I value you by our interaction, by our communication, by our conversation, by how you call me, how I respond. You know, how receptive I am to what you're asking me about, and how pertinent I put it on my priority list, because my list every day is boom, boom, there's a lot of checks on that list that I got to knock off. And some days you can't tackle it all. Some days you got to decide what's the most important things to keep the process moving forward.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to do in the moment.
Right.
Because we get overwhelmed with the whole process. Then something goes wrong in your family. Then your wife's car breaks down. You know what I mean? And it's like these simple little things could alter everything if this ain't where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So for me, my main thing every day is like, I know I'm going to deal with adversity, but I always try to keep this humble, because when I don't keep this humble, it affects every aspect of my life.
Yeah.
It's hard. I have problems with customers. I have problems with my workers. I have problems with my wife. I have problems with my brother. I have everybody you can think of. I have problems with.
Yeah.
But then it leads back to when I get ready to be receptive and accept that I was the a-hole in the situation.
Sure.
It's a lot easier to get over that problem and get on to the next obstacle.
Right.
There's always another one right behind it.
Right.
But it's just about, it's hard too, dude. You know, I'm sure everyone here knows it's so hard, especially when our emotions take over.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, a lot, like everything that I do, unless it's like my family, I take the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
that's not easy either.
It's the hardest thing to do.
It's not easy.
It's the hardest thing to do. I tell people in business, man, that's the first thing you got to do. Check your ego and pride at the door.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be some things that I got to say to you to pull some things out of you that I need done that's not the way I feel about you, but I got to inspire you in a way that I can motivate you to get this done in a timely fashion that's beneficial to both of us.
Yeah.
And if you lose that in the moment, we're never going to work.
Yeah.
But if you understand that that's my intention, not only are you going to value me and love me and respect me, you're going to know that everything that I'm saying is never from a malicious place.
Yeah.
And the people that really know me and love me and understand me, I know it because when other people say stuff about me, they're the one. I'm not defending myself.
Right.
They're defending me.
Right.
They're like, he's what? He just don't deal with that type of stuff that you're representing.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he don't love or he's valuing you any less. He just don't want to deal with the energy that you're bringing around.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing because, you know, most people want to be liked and accepted. And for me, like, I feel like the underdog.
Yeah.
I just feel like all I got is myself.
Right.
And it's like, even though I know I have resources and people that are dying to help me, that's just the way I feel. Like, all I have is myself. And it's not true, but it's the only way that helps me push and go throughout the day and be self-sufficient and resourceful. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm answering 150 phone calls a day and I'm sitting there like, I don't want to pick up the phone.
Right.
But I know when I don't pick up that phone, that problem doesn't go away.
Right.
Now I got 4 more phone calls that I got to answer and call people back.
Right.
About problems that I already could have solved and been on to the next thing.
Right.
So as I get older and more mature and I gain wisdom, I'm learning to just address the problems as they come, try to solve them, you know, and just keep a good mind state, man, with everything, man.
I love it. Yeah, that was fantastic. What all right, so if anyone wants to reach out to you or what's on your business card?
My business card, only business card I have is for all around removal. That's my interior demolition and clean out service. My number's the same for each, you know, it's been the same for 20 years, 267-210-9374. I do have the real estate company that we buy and sell houses and that we do buy and hold properties with. If anybody has any properties they're looking to sell, wholesale, agents, foreclosures, asset managers, you know, if they make sense, I'm willing to buy anything that makes sense. I do have the tax office. You guys don't know about that. I own part of a tax office down in Warminster.
Oh, nice.
That we do daily bookkeeping, business management, quarterly filings, and things like that.
Okay.
And you guys do know about the PAC. We do got the book bag drive coming up at the end of this month.
Yes.
We did step it up this year. We bought 1,250 book bags for local kids in the community.
1,250?
1,250 book bags.
Wow. There you go. I love it.
So every year we just trying to push it, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's me and Antoine Lovelace, the non-for-profit that we set up. It's called the PAC. It stands for Perseverance Against All Circumstances. And our ultimate goal with that, like I told you, is to have the rec center implement job skills and training to get these. The basic thing I really want to help is underprivileged kids and battered women.
Yeah.
Because those are 2 things that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
It's just like I really want to get these kids to understand that, like, you just don't have to go to college to make it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I just want them to understand that. I just really want to stress it. And like, if they know college isn't for them, like, I'm trying to get these kids a trade at 9 and 10 years old.
Right.
I don't care if it's picking trash, collecting cans, being a recycler, learning how to cut hair.
Yeah.
Learning how to sweep hair up.
Yeah.
Like, in order to be a boss, you got to understand every part of the process. So if you want to be the best barber, you got to understand every part of that shop.
Absolutely.
What's the best way to get in there? Get in there and start sweeping floor.
Yeah.
You know what they say? When you're in a barber shop, eventually you're going to get a haircut.
Yeah.
Or you're going to learn how to cut.
Right.
So it's just like everything else. I just tell people, whatever you want to do, man, just get around somebody that inspires you. Get around somebody that's going to be receptive to you. It's not going to always be your family. It's not going to always be your friend. Just get around somebody that believes in you more than you believe in yourself, because when you have them moments of unclear focus and vision, I just want you to keep pushing, man, because everybody's great. You're great. I'm great. I love everybody. Love conquers all in my world, and we all have value, and I just want everybody around me to bring theirs out and let the community see it and just add it wherever they can.
I love it. Absolutely. All right, so there you have it, folks. We like to wrap things up with quotes, and the first one is by Winston Churchill. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty, which tails in perfectly with what you were talking about in the show. And the second one is Helen Keller. Security is mostly a superstition. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. So there you have it, real estate investing. In this episode, we have special guest Dante Reeves. We cover topics that range from property management, investment properties, flipping, fixer-uppers, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Winston Churchill and Helen Keller. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyleeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyleeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.